Monday, August 21st. So the Dome Foamers podcast is back. I'm your host, Christian Kruger, and as always, I'm with Neil Mieski and Brian Dorton, just lifelong Astros fans who love to talk about the Astros. So, boys, let's go. Chaz just went dong show. Chaz just went dong show. The individual that had to split time because he wasn't a center fielder, as Dusty would said, just went dong show.
7-3.
We'll get back to that. We're currently recording Monday, August 21st, due to some schedules that we all have. First day of school, all kinds of stuff. We moved this back a day. So glad you're with us. First thing I want to make sure we thank is our title sponsor, Two Gringos Chupacabra, is our title sponsor. And Two Gringos makes the finest rub, salsa, chips, jerky, marinades you've ever tasted. If you haven't tried their products, please do it today because you don't know what you're missing. The main thing you need to know about Two Gringos Chupacabra products is that they are so good because they only use the finest ingredients and never, ever take shortcuts when it comes to quality. This is why we're proud to have Two Gringos Chupacabra as our title sponsor. You can find them in a grocery store in your area or on their website at twogringoschupacabra.com. That's the number 2, gringoschupacabra.com. I want you boys to know that I have tried their Chop House rub that I was told is their best, and it is incredible. So thank you to Two Gringos Chupacabra for being our title sponsor.
Awesome. Fantastic.
All right, episode 17. Here we are. This is going to remind me of maybe the beginning when we weren't playing so well.
Yeah.
So let's just get it.
Week,
let's get it out of the way.
Yeah.
We went 2-4. We are 70-55, 2.5 games back. Currently playing on Monday night against the Red Sox. Chaz Kruger McCormick just went dong show to make it 7-3 Stros. So we're going to be watching as we're recording. Boys, this can go a lot of different ways. I got a lot of thoughts, but
yeah,
Mieski, we get to come to you first for temperature check. Here we go. Tell me what you got.
So, if we'd have done this last night, when things were fresh, it could have been a lot uglier, right? I mean, we could have been punching people in the face, and the end of the world. The end of the world was. I mean, it was on the cusp.
Yep.
Today, you soak it in, and you realize that we're not where we want to be, and so you maybe absorb some of that a little bit better, and realize that the Rangers did lose, but the Mariners are right behind us. And I know I said last week, this going into the Marlins Mariners game scared me.
You did. And you said that.
Yeah, I just didn't like. I don't know. We go to Florida sometimes, and we just lay an egg or whatever. We scrape out of there with 2 wins.
Florida wasn't the problem.
No, right. And earlier this year, my son and I caught a game against the Mariners, and it wasn't competitive. And the Mariners have done a good job of pretty well just dominating us. And I'm not about to brag about the Mariners because they'll choke. I don't care about those jokers one bit. Or I care, but I just don't want to give them any kind of props because, like I said, their pitching's phenomenal. Their hitting's coming around. Man, what's his name? Rodriguez, the center fielder. That dude was unbelievably in fuego.
Yeah, so drill him in the ribs once. I mean, drill him in the ribs.
Why not?
Why are we pitching to him? Yeah,
exactly.
So
we'll get into that.
Anyways, yeah, miserable week, and we were beyond fortunate. And we ought to send a fruitcake to freaking Milwaukee for what they did with the Rangers. And we're in a pennant race, boys, and that's not something we're used to. And so on one end, it's frustrating the way we played. On the other end, this is why, I mean, this goes back to us being spoiled. I mean, we've been spoiled for years. We've had the 10 to 15 game cushion, and we haven't ever looked in our rearview mirror, but we're not those teams. We're not that team right now. And so we've got to, I mean, we got to trug ahead. We got 4 with Boston, 3 at Detroit, 3. I mean, so out of our next 7 games, 10 games, we've got 7 against Boston. And so we've got to make up some ground. It's not the end of the world, is what I realized this morning. So while as pissed as I am that Seattle came in and did what they did, pouting about it's not going to get us anywhere. So we got to pick up our toys and get better. And so that's my hot take for the time being.
All right, Dorton, what do you
Yeah,
got?
I mean, I'm not gonna take up too much time just echoing the same sentiment as Neil, but yeah, I will say both the Rangers and the Astros are gonna mess around here, and before we know it, we're chasing Seattle for the division instead of the other way around. So that's the way it goes. The wild card isn't getting any more defined. It is as bundled up as it can be, and even more so now. So I mean, there's no the safest thing right now is to win the freaking division. That is the safest place to be, obviously. But I mean, my gosh, like what are we at? Like Tampa's 75-51, Toronto's 69-56, Seattle's 59 or 69-55, and we've won 70.
And Boston's right there too.
And
we're
Boston's
playing
right
right
there
now.
too. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
Yep.
it's all right here.
Well, okay, Neil, Dorton, I can't disagree with any of that. Here's my issue. My issue is the brand of baseball we're playing. It is from base running to defense to the pitching's atrocious. And look, JP France only gave up 2 runs, but he had like 15 balls against the fence. His days are, I mean, it's just coming. I don't want to, I'm not going to nitpick on him because he only gave up 2 runs, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen a guy
season.
I know.
They've been
I
doing
don't
that
know if
all
I've
season.
ever seen a pitcher get luckier than he has. I don't know what. I
He's-
wish he would go talk to the rest of them. But
He survives.
I mean, from the get-go, he just
the
gets
baseball.
peppered.
He does. The baseball is. It's just bad baseball, and I mean it goes up and down the whole lineup. I'm not saying all of them. The errors are atrocious. This is the worst defensive team I've seen on the Astros in since 2015-14. It's got to be. And it's just mental errors too. The base running, atrocious. If you had to go into a series, a playoff series right now, let's assume because we're going to get into this. Let's assume we clinch a wild card.
Okay.
That means we're going to be most likely on the road, 3-game series.
Yep.
Who in God's name are you pitching in that 3-game series right now?
Great question. Great question. I mean, you're going to say Verlander. You're going to say
Verlander, Framber, and
well, let me tell you what, Verlander and Framber need to be better. They need to be aces. That crap they wheeled out their last 2 starts was, I mean, Verlander's got to be better than that. He's got to be better. This is why I've stood my ground, and people have called me out. Friends that I know, people that know. This is why I've called them. This is why I've stood my ground on Framber is not an ace pitcher. He's not. He has ace stuff, and he has a 2-cent head. His meltdowns, it's like he makes one mistake and they just snowball. His stats from the All-Star game, other than the no-hitter, are abysmal. They're
like over 7 ERA.
They're AAA demotion abysmal. Now, we're never going to do that because we know the quality of stuff he has. But if those two need to pick it up and be aces because that's what we got them for. They need to step up. And I'm just not
Agreed.
singling them out. Hunter Brown had a couple of good starts. That thing the other night was just laid an egg. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was rough to watch.
BP.
Javier, 32 pitches in the first inning. Gets fortunate on some bounces and then gives up a 3-run jack. I mean, I feel like every game we're coming from behind. And
Yeah.
it's like it boils down to, is the offense going to score runs tonight? Then we've got a shot. Are they not? Then we're toast. I mean, it's almost
Right.
like it's feast or famine for the offense. Luckily tonight we've got 7 runs in, what is it, the 5th? I'm watching it, but I can't see the inning.
Yeah.
Somewhere's in there. I think
So we've gotten
bit
7.
further.
Top of the 5th.
It's just,
Yep.
I don't know who you start. You're right. It's going to be Verlander and Fromber just because of their quality. Who's the third pitcher?
It'll probably be Javier. I mean,
Oh.
who is it going to? I mean,
No, I mean, I'm not saying anybody. I mean, you could say anybody, and I'd go,
we could put
ugh.
Frenchie in there. I mean,
Right.
sure.
Well, I think you start. I think if it's right now, I think you start France and have him on a super short leash
Well,
and put Javier in the bullpen.
ugh.
But
we know how
I know.
We know what a leash looks like for Dusty.
Yeah, I know.
There isn't one.
But hopefully we've got 37 games to sort this out. But I mean, Jordan, you said it. I mean, the wild card has gone like separation
Bananas.
to everyone together, and we have 7 games against a team that's chasing us in the wild card now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rangers are going to do this. I said all along they were going to regress. It's time for us to stop messing around and go play Astros baseball. And Neil, you say it, you're right. We're spoiled. But we're better than what we've shown over the last 2 weeks. We're better than this. And, I get team meetings. The 3 of us back in the day had a team meeting one time, I remember. I mean, it can work. It can also backfire. I hope it works. But I'm not going to bash Dusty. We already know where we stand. I stand on that. I hate looking at the lineup every time it comes out, but these players need to play better.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
They need to play better.
Well,
They're not putting on the brand of baseball that we're used to over the last 6 years.
We said it at the beginning of right after the All-Star break. Maybe it was it was late July. It was something along the lines of this is pretty much this, with the exception of 1 or 2 players, the same team that won a World Series last year.
Same team.
Right.
Same team that are playing much worse than last year. What's changed?
Yeah.
No.
Well, and it's not that easy, and we know that it's not just, hey, it's the same guys. It should be, the same production, the same vibe. I mean, we know that, but we don't even show the signs sometimes of it being a world championship or defending world championship team. And that's the frustrating part for all Astro fans. But we're looking out there going, what is this? Who are these guys? And without naming specific names, it's just not the same quality, not the same desire. And you go back several podcasts where we talked a little bit about body language, work ethic, the vibe that they're sending off is not the kick-ass vibe. It's just not. And we've hit that up. And so, when that happens in late July, early August, you go, yeah, the dog days of summer, boys, you're in a pennant race. You're in a pennant race. There is no day. There is no time to kick back and try and find yourself. It's freaking go time. And, I don't know what a team meeting does necessarily at that level. Never been in one somehow. But if that's still a thing and somebody thought that was something that needed to happen, at least they're recognizing the fact that this ain't enough. Somebody is called to the carpet and, it's time to work. And I'm sure in some form or fashion that was said. So hats off to Maldi if all that's true, that how that went down. Slap in the face, no doubt. Embarrassment, no doubt. Time to get
He
going.
he might need to catch like balls that are in his glove. That would kind of help too.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody is off the table on that side, that type of deal.
No, they're not. I will say this. This is what I do want to say, and then we'll kind of shift gears. Just think about this. We're 70-55 playing right now, right? Where would this like think about this big picture just this year? Where would this team be without these four players? And yes, there's other ones you can put in here, but think about these four individuals: Chaz, Diaz, Tucker, JP Frenchie.
Yeah.
Mm.
Where would this team be without those four who have all have had really good years? I mean, even Tucker to me right now has exceeded expectations. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
he took a trip to the fake flu / COVID / whatever, and we lost 3 straight games. Now, I'm not saying we would have won all 3 games when he was there because we played like absolute horses, you know what? But those four have carried. Now, you had Jordan out for extended time. We know what Jordan can do. Altuve's been a man on fire. And, you know, we'll talk about him here in a minute. But those four really deserve some credit for keeping this thing from going
Off the rails.
off. There you go, off the rails. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Any
absolutely
thoughts
right.
on that?
You're
No.
absolutely. I think that is. I mean, Tucker is way exceeding expectations. He is, again, every single week that amount goes up and up and up, and that's just pay him, take it now before he
Yeah, I
just
know.
goes on fire and wins an MVP or wins a playoff MVP award and just keeps going up and up and up. Pay him now.
I know.
Anyway, but yes, and
Yeah.
then Chaz, like the fact that he isn't an everyday, it didn't come out as an everyday player and still kind of isn't an everyday player. It's absurd. And same with Diaz. It's absurd.
Tucker has 24 home runs so far, and I sent this to y'all. Let's see if I can. Here, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick. And this is not a knock on Tucker at all because he's been the best player on the team. You know, because he's played every day. Okay, yeah, here's what I sent y'all. I stole this off of Twitter. Astro home run leaders and their plate appearances. Tucker, 24 home runs, 513 plate appearances. Alvarez, 21 home runs, 332 plate appearances. Bregman, 20 home runs, 546 plate appearances. Chas McCormick just hit number 18 tonight, 320 plate appearances. Diaz, 17 home runs, 279 plate appearances. So basically, Chas McCormick and Diaz, if they played every day like Tucker and Bregman have, would be vying for the home run lead of this team.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
That's crazy.
Huh.
That's crazy.
So much to go on that, but it is what it is. Anyone have any more thoughts on that before you kind of pivot?
No, y'all nailed it. I mean, those guys have been. I mean, just where would we be without them? We would be at the bottom.
Yeah, or we'd be in the middle of the pack. I don't know about the bottom, but middle of the pack.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'd be above Oakland. You know, I mean, seriously. I mean, but yeah, I mean, those guys have carried this team, and we've had injuries. We've had pitching problems. We've had, I mean, you name it. It feels like this was the year that we've had to absorb it. And in that aspect, you ask how are we still in the mix? Well, it's because of those guys, right?
No doubt.
It's been a huge savior for this team to give us the chance to be where we are.
So I saw something cool today, and then we'll go to my next question here. I told them I'd give them a shout out because they said that there's some Astro fans that run a memorabilia shop here in New Braunfels. I've heard of it. I've been to it a long time ago. I stopped by there today on the way, getting one of the kids from school, and they have a photo blown up and framed of the Chaz catch in the World Series, signed by
Awesome.
him. It's pretty cool. I told him I would give them a shout out. Told him about the podcast. It's MB Autograph, and so it's a really cool thing. I told him, I said, y'all need to hold that for a little bit. I'm gonna have to maybe get that for the CK stock. But so they have a ton of Astro stuff. It's kind of cool. But pivot. Let me ask y'all a question. And look, Neil, you said it earlier. We'd done this podcast last night. It would have been salty. So
yeah,
we stepped away from Seattle. Now we're in the middle of the game with the Red Sox. I'm going to go out and flat out ask you guys. I'm going to go to Dorton first. 2-part question.
All right.
Do you think we make the playoff? And if you do, is it winning the West or a wild card?
We make the playoff as a second out of the 3 wild card.
So the 5 seed.
Yep.
Okay. Neil?
We win the West.
I hope you're right.
Whoa. Expound, please.
I'm looking at our schedules, and while Seattle has some fortunate games, here's what I'm looking at. Okay,
Seattle does the next 9 games they play crap teams.
Okay, so they play at Chicago, at Kansas City, at Oakland. That's their next 3 series, right?
Yep.
But here's why, and I put some work in this weekend to look at this. Okay, so they play at Chicago, at Chicago White Sox versus Kansas City and versus Oakland. Cake, right? So that's 7 of 9. Let's just call it what it is, right? They're going to win 7 of 9 there.
They might go 8. They might go 8-1.
They could.
They're winning 9-1 tonight over the White Sox.
All right. So after that, they go 1, 2, 3, 4. They go at the Mets for 3, at the Reds for 3, at the Rays for 4, and come home for the Angels for 3 in a row, no bye. So 3, 7, or 3, 6, 10, 13 games in a row. Of those 13, 10 of them are on the road. That sucks.
Yeah.
The Mets, not very good.
No.
The Reds, fighting like hell. Right?
I'd say average.
They're fighting though. They're not dead meat.
No, they're not.
Okay. At the Rays for 4. And then they come home after 10 straight road games and play the Yankees.
That's the longest flight ever. They're the furthest where they could be in Tampa Bay. They're in Miami.
Correct. So I'm going to call this now that the Angels may sneak up on them. I mean, you think about it. You're on the road for 10 straight games. You leave Tampa Bay, you fly back to Seattle, you turn around and you play the Angels, and you're dead ass tired. So
not the same Angels that we've been playing.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but Neil's point, I get Neil's point, because I mean that's a brutal flight. Brutal.
I mean, think about it,
after
guys.
10 days.
We go on the road for 2 or 3 days and we come back home and it's like we're toast.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're on the road for 10 days. Right? And then you change 3 time zones. You're all out of whack. You come back home and you're like, what world am I in? You get the aim. I mean, there's going to be some issues there. I'm just telling you right now. And I could be wrong.
That's fair.
That's
that's a good point. The problem is they got 9 cupcake games before that. Like 9 in a row.
Yeah. Prior to that, I get all that. I'm with you. But
but look, and I didn't mean to make this about the Mariners either. Like
no, no, no.
we need to handle our stuff. I love looking at the schedules though.
Okay, so
So go ahead.
there's the
Yeah, keep
Mariners.
going.
The Mariners, okay, they play the Angels, they get a bye. Then they have Dodgers. Then they get the Oakland. They get a series with Oakland, and then this is it. Okay, I mean, and the Mariners, in some aspects, they're in control because of this schedule right here. They end with 3 at Texas. We go there for 3, and then they end
Massive.
with Texas,
I
a
know.
4-game series. So they go Texas, us, Texas to end this thing. Okay, this is like that's a huge piece. If they dominate, they win. If
That's
they
their
dominate,
last
they win.
10. That's their last 10 games of the year.
You got it. 7 of them are against Texas.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there's a chance. There's a chance for us to do some. I mean, we're in some form or fashion. I mean, if we can control some of that, but I'm not buying Seattle. That maybe they're peaking in mid to late August. I just not buying them yet. Yes,
Well,
they
look,
have our number.
I don't. I mean, they did play us without Kyle Tucker, our best player this year, and I'm not making
Correct.
excuses. I'm not making excuses. We
They
played so
dominated.
crappy. We
Yeah.
played so crappy, and
Yeah.
we looked like crap. So I get it, but that's interesting. Yeah, it's going to come down
right.
to the wire.
So let me tell you, talk about Texas, right? At Arizona right now, they go to the Twins, they go to the Mets. So they have a 7-game road trip.
Excuse me.
No, they're on a 9-game road trip right now. 9 games. Then they come home. They play the Twins, they play us. They have a bye, then they play Oakland. And then here you go. They're at Toronto for 4. They're at Cleveland. So there's a week to where they're on the road. They come home, they play Boston. Then they go to Seattle. Then they've got the Angel series, and then they end with 4 at Seattle. So again, I'm just, when I break this down, I'm telling you, yes, I mean, this isn't earth-shattering. It's anybody's division. But I just feel like we've got a schedule that is designed for us to take advantage. And I feel like we're the better built team when it's all said and done.
7-2. I think we talked about this last week on the podcast. 7-2 against the Royals and A's in September is not going to cut it.
Sure.
We need to go 8-1. I mean, unless those other teams falter, but I mean, we need to take control. Those are 9 games in September. We need to make hay. And I mean, 7-2, I guess. I mean, it could,
just
but
every game.
Hey, I know, no doubt. And start with tonight. I mean, let's back up a little bit. That's why I hated the split against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. We're better than they're terrible. They've lost 8 straight. Win another game and win 3 out of 4. That's another game in the win column, right?
Yep.
Luckily, people are helping us out, and the Rangers are helping us out. But we got to control. We got to control, and we've got to stack wins and streaks. And I didn't answer my own question, so I'm going to answer it. This is a tough one, and y'all both kind of answered. I knew we wouldn't all get the same answers. I guess what I'm getting at. I do think we make the playoffs. There's too much experience. There's too much dudes that have done it compared to the rest of the American League, which, by the way, the American League playoffs this year, just get in because it's going to be wild. It's wide open, and the Astros have a huge advantage in the playoffs. But we got to get there.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll say we win the division by 1 game because Neil highlighted some of the stuff I was looking at, but it's got to start like now. I'm not a big fan of this team currently getting in the wild card because of the extra series. But
Sure.
then seeing who's going to be in the American League, dude, it's wide. I mean, it is wide open. You know who won't be in it is the Yankees. Season over. Nice job, Yankees. Nice
Season
job.
gone. Season gone.
That was so
Yeah.
good when you said that. Excuse me. Also, I'm recovering from little illness too, so bear with me. All right, so we got that wrapped up. It's now time for the Dome Foam Players of the Week. This ought to be fun as
Oh
I
my
get another
God.
drink. So, Dorton, take us away.
Players of the week. Can it go to broadcasters? I don't even know. I mean, goodness.
Testing. Is this thing
Yeah.
on?
Hello.
You can make it. You can pick whoever you want, man.
Everyone was pretty okay. I'll tell you what. I will go with a safe bet in that of no, I won't go with a safe bet. I will go with Mauricio Dubon this week. Why?
All right.
Why?
Whoa.
He hit 368 this week. He only struck out 2 times, and he had 5 RBIs.
All right.
Second to only Bregman.
In the RBI category?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's 19 at-bats. Also second to Bregman.
I wish he would play shortstop more.
So, you know what? Mauricio, that's my boy.
Right.
That's my boy.
That is your boy. All right, Neil, who you got for your Dome Foam player?
And I'm being serious here. I up to about 2 minutes ago was going to say I ain't paying for one single beer for anybody. Like, move on. And so,
no one deserves one this week.
Hell no. You go 2-4 and you want me to buy you a beer? Not this guy. Not this guy. And so when you go get the drink because you're trying to recover, I'm like, I don't know if they'll let me do that. So there's one guy like crazy in the back of my mind. And I can't believe y'all will freak out. Rafael Montero.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes. So he pitched in 2 games against Miami, 2 games against Seattle.
Yep.
He sure did.
He gave up in those 4 games, he gave up 2 hits. 0 runs.
Yeah. He did
I'm gonna
his job.
I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to curse him
job.
anymore.
He did not make things worse like he can do sometimes.
He's
not to interrupt, but Seth Johnny Ray Martinez is in, and now we have 2 on and no outs. Just FYI.
Well, that's the guy you'd bring in a situation like this. All right. Talk to me.
All right, Neil.
Dome Foamer.
I didn't think you were going there. It's legit. He deserves a Dome Foam. I'm going chalk. I'm going one of my favorite players, and the reason is because he's been red hot, but also fastest player to ever get to 2,000 hits, 200 home runs, 200 stolen bases. Was that the stat? I saw it, man. I've been in and out of a coma, basically. Fastest player ever. And that's Jose Altuve.
Yeah.
And that's the reason. I mean, yes, he's been hot. Yes, he's getting hits. I'm not a big, huge milestone guy on 2,000 hits, even though it is a hell of an accomplishment. But I am with him because he's a Hall of Famer, and anyone that says he's not is full of crap. And he's one of the best second basemen ever played the game. And winning last year basically solidified it for the narrative out there. So that was why that was so important for his legacy, is he will be in the Hall of Fame. And he's just going to keep adding to those numbers as someone just hit a foul ball home run off Johnny Ray Martinez.
Yeah.
This is like whiplash.
Scary.
Is it Devers again? It is.
Yeah, it's Devers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to watch. So my dome foam goes to Jose Altuve for hitting that milestone and seeing how fast he's done it, especially with all the injuries as well lately.
Yeah, well deserved. Well deserved.
Yep, he's the man. All right, so we're gonna go to prospect of the week. I'm gonna do something a little different this week. The only reason is because this is the time of year where there's a ton of promotions, and so I want to highlight a couple of guys that got promoted, and that's one of my favorites in the system, Joey Looper Fido, however you want to pronounce it. Getting bumped from Corpus to Sugarland, hit a home run, I think, in his second game. Man, I think this guy's going to be a utility player in the league. I really do. I think we might see him next year. Just so he can play all the outfield, play second base, plays first base. But congrats to him. He's moved up the rankings with the trades and being promoted. And also Colton Gordon. Colton Gordon, the hard throwing lefty, has been promoted from Corpus Christi to Sugarland as well. And so, now it's bases loaded, no outs. I don't like doing this and watching the game. So that's cool to see those guys get bumped. I'm waiting to see Jacob Melton get bumped from high A to double A. I'm sure that's coming. But I just wanted to some people that we talked about in the podcast that are now being promoted because they're having really good years. So it's kind of cool to see.
That's awesome.
Yep, it's exciting. Exciting to see these names that we've talked about and heard about finally start to make a little headway in the franchise. That's good.
Absolutely. Hopefully we see both of them. We might see both of them next year. So transition there for the throwback player of the week. We are sponsored by Victoria Equipment Auction. At Victoria Equipment Auction, their number one goal is to get you the best price for your equipment in a hassle-free professional manner. Whether you're part of a large corporation looking to clear old equipment out of your inventory or an individual interested in selling a single piece, Victoria Equipment Auction is ready to go to work for you. Just drop off the equipment and they will take care of it. You can contact them at victoriaequipmentauction.com or you can call Clay at 361-935-2444. I talked to Kevin and Kenny Griffin. They had a great auction on August 12th, one of their biggest they've ever had. So that was awesome. I didn't get to go down to Victoria for that. Had some scheduling conflicts with the kids, but we want to make one of them. They have them quarterly. Contact, they're great people. They do a great job. That's victoriaequipmentauction.com. Neil, who is our throwback player of the week?
We're going with Billy Wagner, boys.
Ooh.
So Billy Wagner, better known as William Edward Wagner, born July 25th, 1971, nicknamed, what's his nickname, guys?
I don't remember.
I would if I think about it. I'm too fried up on medication.
Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so Billy the Kid. So he was born, and this is the fun part. I'll talk about this all the time. This is the fun part of doing this is learning some of the background. So Billy Wagner's mom was 16 years old when he was born. Dad was 18 years old. His name was William Hot Rod Wagner. So
awesome.
Hot Rod and Yvonne had a kid when they were 16 and 18 years old, right? Ended up getting divorced 5 years later, 5 years old. So he and his sister bounce around a little bit and ultimately lived a poor life. I mean, they grew up with dang near nothing is what it sounds like. Another cool part, 7 years old, Billy Wagner, he breaks his right arm playing football. So shortly after having the cast taken off, he broke it again. So what does a right-handed thrower, a natural right-handed thrower do? He starts throwing left-handed. Thus, that's how he became a lefty. So, Christian, I know you've got two boys. Don't go out there start breaking arms and making them throw left-handed.
Man, I tried. I tried with both of them, and neither of them. They both, neither. I was not successful.
So he graduates from high school, batting .451, has a great, obviously, high school career. Ends up going to what is called Ferrum College. He had a cousin that went to Ferrum College in Ferrum, Virginia. Very famous, obviously. We've all heard of that, right? Sets the NCAA record for strikeouts per inning with 19 strikeouts per 9 innings. So obviously throwing gas, and allowing 1.88 hits. So he's setting all kind of records. Ends up going to the Cape Cod League. Ends up doing so well there. Eventually becomes a Hall of Fame member in 2022 for the Cape Cod League. He ends up the following year after 2020. After 92, he ends up getting drafted in 93 by the Astros in the first round. Quad City River Bandits until his major league debut in 95. He gets called up late 95, plays one game in 95, comes back in 96. And going through the minors, these guys, and I didn't realize this, that he was a starting pitcher. They had him tabbed as a starting pitcher.
I remember that.
And
excuse me.
Yeah, so he comes back in 96, and they start using him in the bullpen. His first major league appearance was out of the bullpen. This one in 96, the following year, kept him there. And long story short, he became one of the best closers in the history of baseball. So he's guys like Rob Dibble, he was breaking their records at that time and just clearly making a name for himself. The guy graduated high school and he was 5'5". I mean, so you're talking about a little guy who just grew slowly, and they had him officially at 5'10", but we all know we stood next. He wasn't a 5'10" guy. It just made things different, right? You just didn't see that size of guy coming in and dominating Major League Baseball hitting. He goes through all the way to 99, Relief Man of the Year award, 39 saves, struck out 124 in 74 innings. In 2000, we fast forward to 2000. Stop me if you've heard this before, but he got injured. He had a torn flexor tendon. Torn flexor tendon. I don't know if y'all have heard of that recently or not, but so he ends up missing the later half of the 2000 season. Rebounds in 2001 off of this surgery. 39 saves, 41 chances, 2.73 ERA. 2002, again, another fabulous year for him and the Astros. And he at the time, he was one of the, if not the hardest throwing man in baseball. And he was constantly had pitches over 100 miles per hour, right? And so in 2002, we hadn't seen that necessarily style just yet. 2003, June 11th, Wagner closes out the no-hitter against the New York Yankees. And I think we've mentioned this on the podcast, or maybe it's been off the air. I want to ask you guys, we remember that, right? At the Yankees, we throw a no-hitter, 6 pitchers combined. Start naming them.
Oh, come on. No, I'm out.
No chance?
No chance.
No.
No chance.
Man,
Tonight.
Okay, I'm gonna give you all a hint. At this
Jose
time,
Lima.
No. At this time, we had the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. It was locked down.
Brad Lidge was one of them.
Brad Lidge.
Yeah.
He was the 7th inning. Let's call the 7th at that time.
Octavio Dotel.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Okay. Yep. He was the 8th inning, and Billy was the 9th. So you've got half of them. The starter that day has been
Hold on. Yeah,
He,
wouldn't
he's
this, didn't the starter have to leave early for an injury or something?
I think he may have only pitched 2 innings, maybe three, if that.
I think he left early being hurt.
He was a throwback player of the year already, or throwback player this year
Roy
already.
O.
Royo. And if you get these other two, Brian will buy you lunch.
Yeah.
Oh man, if I had more time, I could think about it, but
All right.
go ahead.
So Peter Monroe
I would have gotten that one.
and
Nope.
and Kurt Sarlos.
Oh gosh.
Sarlos?
No chance.
I might have got. I wouldn't have got Peter Monroe. Sarlos
No,
is the head baseball coach at TCU right now.
So there was a Billy got to close out a 6-guy no hitter, pretty cool. So following the 2005 season when we go to the World Series, and I guess I don't recall this exactly, but Billy Wagner started criticizing management. Well, you know how that goes in Houston. You start running your mouth, adios amigos. So they trade him in 2005 for Brandon Duckworth, Taylor Buckholz, and Ezekiel Astachio.
Now that
So-
I would not have gotten.
I remember
Right, yeah, no-
Duckworth.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm sorry, and that was 2003 when they traded him. So he ends up playing for the Mets, Red Sox, Braves. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Billy Wagner in Hall of Fame, right? So he's in his 8th year on the Hall of Fame ballot. I think he got like 67, 68%, needing 75% of the vote. Career stats, 422 saves in 16 years. Again, Astros, Phillies, Mets, Red Sox, Braves. Almost 1,200 strikeouts, ERA 2.31, 7-time All-Star, 99 reliever of the year, 7 times in the postseason. All right, here's another trivia question. There are 8 relievers currently in the Hall of Fame. Can you name them?
Lee
Pedro.
Smith, Mariano Rivera,
There's 2.
Raleigh Fingers,
There's
Raleigh.
3.
Catfish Hunter,
No, sir.
Goose Gossage,
The Goose is in there. There's 4.
Trevor Hoffman.
5.
Man, I want to get this. I don't know how much time we have here.
There's one you'll definitely could get. There's 2. I'd be surprised.
Well, I can surprise you.
Well,
You didn't think I was going to get 5.
no, that's good.
Yeah, man. Just for the sake of time, I could keep
Okay.
going here, but
Yeah. So Dennis Eckersley,
that's obvious. I should have got that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hoyt Wilhelm, no
Yeah.
chance,
I wouldn't have got
and
that
then
one.
and Bruce Sutter.
Bruce Sutter. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are 8 guys who his numbers, some are better, some are.
He's trending, but he's trending in the right direction with the vote. Like he
Correct.
goes up every year, so that's usually a good metric that
Signal.
he probably is going to get in eventually.
Right. So, when you compare eras, right, and that's the difficult thing to do. People always throw out like, I saw one today, Fred McGriff versus Paul Goldschmidt. Well, those are hard because those are different eras, right? You can't
Yeah.
just say number to number. And so when you look at Billy the Kid's numbers here in the live ball era, he has the lowest ERA amongst all of them, right? And so when you look at where he stacks up against some of these guys, so innings pitched, his ERA, Mariano Rivera has a 2.21. Billy Wagner is second overall with a 2.31. Kenley Jansen right behind him with 2.46. Highest Ks of all time, Billy Wagner is 2. He's got 11.9 versus Kenley Jansen 13. So when you start to compare current guys, it's a no-brainer. You're talking.
He's getting in. I'd be shocked if he didn't get in.
Right. So when you talk about a closer, sometimes people get locked in on the fact of just saves, So Billy Wagner ends up with 422 saves, and you compare that to Mario Rivera, who had 652. So people go, wow, I mean, it's not the same. Trevor Hoffman, 601, Lee Smith, 478. Well, now you're in the same ballpark, but again, a little bit different era. So I just think I'm with you. I think he's heading the right direction. I think he's in. I hope he goes in as an Astro.
He should, yeah. But I guess in that don't they have the choice? They get to pick one half.
Yes, right. So I mean, he had some success with the Mets, but I would say that was his second best place. If he's got a sour taste in his mouth for how things ended in Houston, I can see it going the other way. But hopefully
he
that's
was
not
on. He was on the broadcast a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago, and he sounded great. Like he sounded like there wasn't any bad blood. And he's got his son, Will Wagner, is the third
Yep.
baseman for the Corpus Christi Hooks, who
yeah.
is a promising prospect as well. He's just been battling a couple of injuries here and there, but when he's played pretty well. I mean, we are devoid of true third basemen in the minors, so it'd be fun watching him. But he's played well and he's been healthy. So I think that's over. I'm just speculating. I think it's over. But
I hope so. But yeah, I mean that was the last thing.
Let's say he gets in, because I think he's going to. Who's the next Astro that gets in?
I would say it's Altuve.
I mean, Verlander.
I would. I mean, do you think? Okay, let's say Verlander gets in. Is he going to be a Tiger? I know he's won more with us or had greater team success with us.
If he puts another ring on that finger,
I'm not sure on that one.
That'd be hard.
I mean, I personally think he should go in as an Astro now. I'm biased, we know that, but 2 titles to 0. But if he puts another one on there, I think the decision's made.
Yeah, it's hard to fight that. But yeah, that's a good question.
All right, so thanks, Neil. That was awesome. I love when we just go back to all the memories, and I think Billy Wagner was another player that was underappreciated. He was phenomenal. Just nasty. Like I see him, and Lidge had some great numbers. And look, we've dogged Lidge because of the moon ball that he gave to Pujols stuff, right?
Man,
yeah,
which is still going.
I
but
hear
Wagner
it in my dreams.
Wagner was a step above Lidge as time of Astros.
Mm-hmm. Straight gas, boys.
Yep. All right. Awesome. Yeah, it was. Thanks for that, man. That was a good one. All right, now it's time to kind of wrap this thing up. There's a couple things we want to do before we get there. So, weekly predictions, which have been atrocious. But I mean, it's because of the way they've been playing baseball. So we have 4 with the Red Sox, and then we go on the road.
Tigers.
Detroit.
AJ Hinch, who, by the way, they're playing decent baseball. They haven't been. They're not the Royals or the A's. So
let's do instead of doing 7, since we're top of the 7th at this game, let's predict the next 6.
You don't want to take this one?
I mean, I'll take it, but
what if we go all the way to next Monday? Through next Monday.
Do next. Oh, okay. All right. Let's do next Monday. That includes Boston again.
Boston again at Boston. Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to include 8 games. So
no,
4
today. Today's out. So we've got 3 more with Boston.
3 with
Detroit.
And then 1 more with Boston.
Man, I want to go to the Astros at Fenway. But all right, Neil, I'm gonna fire back at you since I went to Dorton first last time. So
all right.
Give me your shot. Give me your prediction.
So first prediction is we're going to sweep Boston.
Oh, love that. What?
Wow. Hello? Did y'all mute me? Is this
on? Hello?
Yeah.
Is this thing working?
Yeah.
Can you repeat that again, please?
Yeah, we're about to sweep Boston.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, I don't even hesitate. We got Verlander tomorrow. My guy Urquidy, he's in.
Mhm.
He's going to do it.
Frenchie on
And
Thursday.
Frenchie on Thursday. Okay, that sounds like 3 wins there. We're going to win tonight. Then we go to Detroit. Valdez is going to throw like 7 innings of 2-hit baseball. Javier
That Valdez.
scares the.
So that Valdez is showing up.
Yeah, that guy. I mean,
Okay.
he's his shrink is sending us the good one.
I love it.
Okay.
He did go
I
fishing.
don't.
He did
I
go
don't know if
fishing.
are my AirPods working. Like, keep going.
Yeah. And so I'm going to say Javier struggles. I mean, I know that's a way
Went
out
out limb
there.
on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, way out there. And then Verlander is going to win in Detroit, guys.
In Detroit.
I mean, I'm assuming it's Verlander. So he gets the pitch in Detroit. You know, he's gonna make a showing of that. And then we start at Boston.
Yeah.
with-
Then we start at 3. Is it 3? Yes, 3 games at
I'm
Boston.
gonna guess it's Hunter Brown at this point. Hell, I don't know how the rotation is really going, but in my notes, that's what I see, and I'm gonna say that could be a struggle. So I'm gonna say 7 games or 5-2.
Sign me up right now. I'll take it right now. Let's
Hell
go.
yeah.
I mean, fine. I'll take it right now. Let's go. All right, Jordan. What do you got?
So we'll win 2 of the next 3. So we'll win tomorrow, and I think we win on Thursday. I think Wednesday we'll hit a little roadblock offensively. I just have that feeling. And then I think we take 2 of 3 in Detroit. So what is that? 2, 4.
And then what about the first game in Boston?
And we go into Fenway and just start lighting up. We start lighting things up offensively.
So you're saying 5-2 as
5-2.
5-2.
I mean, we're sounding like a team that got swept.
That didn't get swept.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's my issue. Is like usually my predictions, because I want them to play better. We all do. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do this, and then you guys come out just firing away, and I'm like,
But we know what they can play like, you know.
I know, and I've also been sick as a dog this weekend and saw them play against the Mariners. I turned the game off in the 3rd inning because I was sick of watching it. I've never done that. I was getting updates from my middle child saying, "Well, they did this, did this." I'm like, you know what? Like, I mean, I don't want to say 4-3 because then 5-2. I'm going you guys 5-2.
Boy, I do. I hope we're all right. I hope all
Made
3 of
that
us
easy.
just nailed this.
Yeah,
Made that
Actually,
I'm gonna tell you
I
this.
hope
You
we're all
want to know what I
wrong.
want?
I hope we're all
want-
wrong.
I hope we win tonight first. I hope we win tonight. I hope we close this out. I want to get that in the win column.
Neris just got an out, so that's good. That's a good sign.
Presley should be fresh.
Should be.
Oh,
Yeah, he
Right?
should be. Yeah.
He's had some
Okay.
time off.
let's touch on one thing
2
before we
outs.
close this out. Let's touch on one thing because we're right about an hour. John Singleton experiment done?
I mean, again, I said it from the beginning when he hits those home runs that's good, but I'm not about to crown him anything.
I mean, I think we keep him on the roster, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Can we?
you know,
Can we
there's
keep
this
him on the
ghost.
roster?
There's this ghost of Michael Brantley that I don't want to talk about because the second we talk about, we never see him again.
Well,
But
I mean, there are certainly a couple of players that are currently on the roster who
sure, no,
are
you're fair.
much more expendable than Big John. I mean, I'd love to have him on the roster as opposed to Hensley or friggin'
Ray Kessinger.
I mean, they serve no purpose whatsoever. We can throw Big John in there, and there's a chance that he hits the ball 460, you know, and lights up the entire game.
I still can't believe he's only had one big game.
I know.
Like,
But
hasn't had a hit since he hit a home run.
Yeah.
I think he
That
got
kind of-
one single. Yeah, I think he got one single
I
game.
did read-
Robert.
Oh, he does. He
I
does.
did
Yeah.
read an interesting metric on
Miami.
him though. Like he has been hitting the ball, or he had been hitting the ball hard, and all of them were just directly to defenders. It was one of those, like, this is bad luck. Some of it. Now, I think since then, this was around the Marlins, like end of the Angels Marlins.
Well, it's just
series.
weird to me. It's weird to me now. All of a sudden, Diaz is playing first,
I mean,
and look, we need him in the lineup, but I don't want to get into a long
Right.
discussion because we're at the end here. But like, if you put insert Diaz in the lineup, you should insert him where he's naturally supposed to play and take out our weakest link in the order. And now all of a sudden we've been clamped. We want him to play first base some all year.
We've just
and
wanted him
now
to play. We've just wanted him to play.
It's so odd. It's just so odd. I'll never understand it.
it's Dusty's way of making you forget about Maldonado. Like, okay,
Yep.
y'all want me to y'all
I know.
want Diaz to play? All right. No. The only guy I don't trust more than Diaz is Singleton. And so I mean it's like Singleton's falling off the face of the earth. So
Neris just struck out. Okay. Hey.
yeah.
All right, we're into the 8. Go to the bottom of the 8.
Bottom.
All right.
All right.
Bottom 7. All right. Hopefully we pull this one out, and then we'll go from there. But that's all I have, guys. I just want to say, we might be moving to Mondays then to Tuesdays. We need to have some discussions on that due to Neil and the football and our schedules. But we're going to have this out every week. Like, follow, rate, review. Check us out on all this. Yeah, school. Check us out. For some reason, my school district was the last in Texas to go to school. Kids got off today. Yes, thank you, Lord. But check us out on the social medias, the TikToks. Neil's put out Neil's TikTok today was pretty good.
That was funny.
That was pretty funny. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. And appreciate all those that listen. YouTube, yes. YouTube, thank you. But I appreciate it. Guys, thanks again for a Monday night. I apologize for being a little bit under the weather, but I'm coming out of it. And so go Buffaloes, go Giddings Buffaloes this Friday night, first game. I'm going to be catching Coach Boyce and the Victoria West Warriors versus Davenport Wolves. Football's here. We're probably going to have just to announce a college preview show podcast maybe next week. Well, we have to discuss that and nail it down. But with all that being said, go Stros.
Go Stros.
Go Stros.